Hey, what's up, Ram Nation? Here for another edition of RamSports.net Ram Talk. Today, we are talking to head cheer coach Terrance Davis. Hey, Coach T, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, it's going pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing all right. We're doing okay. Cameron, how are you doing? Cameron, my assistant, alongside.
Doing okay. Hanging in there.
Coach T, let's get right into this. Talk to us a little bit about your background, where you come from, how you got to Wesleyan, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so my background is I've been a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader back in college. I now coach and help run a gym, and I've been doing that for the past 15 years. The old coach here at Wesleyan, Carolyn, we were really good friends, and I've helped her out a few times with the team. And as she was departing from the university, she asked me, how would I feel about taking over the program, and the rest is history, as they say.
Great, great. Uh, talk about talk about the culture surrounding cheer and competitive cheer and dance, and how that differs from, say, another sport like baseball or softball or track or basketball.
Well, the culture that these kids have to endure is, I mean, we don't have an off season, so these kids are together. They're starting in mid to late July, and they're together working and competing and or on the sidelines for different sports up until April. So, I mean, the culture is definitely different. Sometimes it can get mundane for the kiddos or for the student athletes. I'm sorry. Um, but I think they hold together for the most part really well. And we have a what I brought in was a Ramley or family aspect. It's such a long season for us. They're always together. We're practicing 4 to 5 times a week, not including appearances, games, extra practices, so on and so forth. So, I tell them, just like in your family, you see each other every day. You're going to have those little fights, those little nagging, but at the end of the day, we have to all work together for the greater good. And so that's why I really like the slogan that was here before I got here, but I use it a whole lot more as a Ramley. So that's the culture that we are that we are following.
Yeah, and a lot of your colleagues, a lot of the other coaches around the department have echoed that sentiment of that Ramley feel.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see that it's translated into the cheer program, and probably one of the most important programs to have that Ramley culture established in.
Yes,
Um,
definitely. So.
so let's talk a little bit about the recruiting process. How do you recruit, say, a high school senior? How do you get them ready to compete in both the classroom and in competitive cheer? And talk about a little bit about what Texas Wesleyan's competitive advantage is when you recruit these folks.
Um, the competitive advantage I feel like is just like the slogan says, smaller, smarter. For a lot of the kids that I am recruiting, they come from those smaller towns, and so the they don't have such a big implementation of, oh man, this was, I came from a 5A school, now I'm kind of at a 2A school, I guess you could say. But that they really fall into place here. And I've seen that last year with one of the recruits that we had. She's from Lockhart, Texas, very, very small town right outside of Austin. Um, you know, you get that really good college feel because you're in a big city, but you also get that small one-on-one with your teachers. Unlike some of the other universities where you're in a lecture hall and there's 300 kids. No, you're in a small classroom. There's 16 or 15 to one. You know, so that is, I don't want to say our selling point, but I feel like that is an advantage for us. Small school, big town. Um, as far as the classroom is concerned, what we're doing with our recruits and what I'm doing with our teams is we are setting them up to be successful. We're telling our student athletes to sit in the first two rows of those classes. You know, we are also telling them to if you have to be absent, let me know. Let me know firsthand, because if not, I've emailed all of the teachers past, and I'll continue to do this. Hey, if the kid's missing class, let me know. If they are not turning work, let me know. Reach out to me, and I'll make sure it's done. If there needs to be some extra conditioning done, because we want these kids, first of all, to succeed in the classroom. On the sidelines and on the fields are secondary to academics, really.
So, talk a little bit about maybe someone who doesn't know too much about the cheer world. What is something What is something that not a lot of people know about that's a really cool aspect about your job?
Um, it's fun. It's actually fun. Um, as hard as I am on the kids, and as much as we have to work, because we have to work extremely hard. I want everyone to know that. Uh, you know, this sport is very physically demanding, and with that, it's also mentally demanding. Um, we're throwing people up in the air. They're flipping, defying gravity, so to speak, with this sport. But it's also fun, Um, some people, it's extremely hard, but it's fun. So I guess the answer to your question is it's hard, but it's fun.
Cool.
Coach, how would you how how would you say that cheer can impact impact lives and impact confidence? It's similar to dance, but different to dance in the ways that it engages with the student athlete. How would you describe that?
The engagement of the student athlete, or the life skills, so to speak, that are obtained through the sport of cheer.
Yeah, the life skills. I think
Uh,
there's some important ones there, certainly.
Very, very important, and that's how I like to teach, or to coach my sport, is life skills, teamwork. I don't always, if something's going wrong, I don't immediately get in there and say, "Hey, this is what happened with the stunt." I said, "What happened with it? Okay, fix it." And allow them to troubleshoot themselves, because in the real world, you're going to come up with those situations, and you can't always go to the person above you, or this person or that person. You have to troubleshoot some of that stuff yourself. Okay, so that being one, troubleshooting, finding solutions, problem solving. Another one would be teamwork, knowing that someone else is working with you for the greater good, which is, of course, a cliche throughout all sports teams, is teamwork. But with this, it really plays a huge part, because we have, let's say we have four people. We have one girl up in the air and three people under her. And if one person isn't doing their job and applying their skills to the team, this girl could be in very, very big danger. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so that teamwork definitely plays a different part, but still a part in cheerleading.
Coach, how did you get into cheerleading? When did that start for you, and when did you realize, look, I really have a passion for this?
I actually went to college for music education, psychology. I had a dorm mate of mine that lived across the hall, and she said, "Hey, we need some more guys to go to this nationals with us." And I was like, "Well, good luck with that." But she talked me into coming to a practice. There were many more guys there. It was ex football players, ex basketball players from high school, baseball players, and so I felt a little bit more at home, because I actually ran track, and I was an athlete in high school. I ran track and I played basketball, but music was my first passion. Um, so I went to that practice, and I liked it. I actually liked it. I liked the people. I liked the atmosphere. Everyone was genuine about trying to help me get um, on their level, because I knew nothing about the sport. But I went in there and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. After college, I start working at a gym, um, and I've been there for 15 years now. I've been coaching for right at 17 years, I believe. So I got into the sport and I fell in love with the sport, and that's my passion. It's my passion. I love seeing the kids get new skills. I love seeing the teamwork. I love seeing the bonds that are obtained through the sport of cheer. So yeah, that's how I got in it, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it.
That's a lesson to college kids and even adults out there that sometimes you know when they talk to you your junior year of high school about what you want to do. I mean, sometimes you just don't know until you come upon it, and then your whole life changes.
Exactly. In high school, your counselors will tell you, in college is where you really find yourself, and it's really where you're going to find some of those things. And I'm a testament to that. I found something that I fell in love with. Some people find the love of their lives. Some people find that, some things aren't for them or this or that. And I found that this sport I love, and I love coaching student athletes. I love coaching kids. Like I said, I work at an all-star gym, and so I coach them from four until at this point. And I just love the sport.
Coach, what frustrates you the most coaching student athletes? What's one of your pet peeves?
Um, I would have to say using the word can't, and you see that a whole lot in different aspects of life, different facets of life. But in this sport particularly, you hear can't a whole lot more, because of some of the tangibles that I said. Is they're defying gravity. We're throwing girls up, we're flipping our bodies around, and they think that they can't do it when in all actuality they can. Like I said, I've studied psychology in college, and so with this sport, it helps me a whole lot because it's about 80% mental. The mind will tell the body what to do, as long as you're mentally strong. And so my pet peeve about coaching, and I don't see that here. I don't see that here at Texas Wesleyan. I'll tell some of the student athletes, hey, I want you to go up and do this thing in the air, and then you're gonna land, and trust the process. And all I hear is, okay, coach, or I got you, coach. I'm gonna do it, coach. I'll try it, coach. So I haven't had a pet peeve of any of these the past two teams that I've had.
Yeah, I think
Nothing
a lot of
frustrating.
I think a lot of fans take for granted when they see maybe a cheerleader that's standing on top of two other
Absolutely.
cheerleaders with her foot by her head, and then
Yeah,
a dismount where she twirls and then comes down. It seems so effortless,
They make it look
yet
so easy.
they make it look so easy. Yet it's an incredibly difficult skill to like you said, mentally get around it, but also physically to do it right and not get hurt. And then meanwhile, a running back gets a 2 yard gain or something, so it's it's really cool. It's a really cool dynamic to see you guys out there during football games, what you guys bring to the table, and the life that you bring to the crowd and all that.
thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, what do you think are the best and worst aspects of operating in the NAIA? I know when you go to competitions, the NAIA isn't too big of a sport as far as cheer goes. So you are competing with a lot of D2, D1s, D3 teams. Talk about what the best and worst aspects are of operating in the NAIA.
Well, I really like the mold that they set up for the NAIA. Honestly, I do. And like I said before, I actually got the job here. I was working with Carolyn when they were doing NAIA, but we have transferred over to NCA, competing at NCA. And the
Okay.
reason for that is they put them all in a big pot. So you have different divisions, right? You would have a small co-ed, a large co-ed, an advanced, and intermediate. Whereas in NAIA, they just put everyone together, and so it can be unfair to a program like ours right now, because we had that rebuilding phase last year, and so now we're in that growing phase. And so in 2 years, we'll be right there with the talent pool that they had, with the talent that they have. Squad standing back handsprings or squad standing back tucks. Right now, we have maybe 4 or 5 that have back handsprings, and maybe 2 or 3 that have tucks. And so to go and compete with a team that has all of those skills already, it just ends up being a little bit unfair to us. And so that's why we took the NCAA route, because the NCAA route, because we can go in there and compete with teams that are on the same level with us. We can compete with those small intermediate teams, small co-ed intermediate teams there in Daytona Beach, Florida. It helps us out. It really does. It builds the confidence with these kids. You don't want to go in there feeling already defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, sometimes I think with the NAIA competition, without having those divisions or those stipulations with who can compete against who, it kind of I mean, you're already at a disadvantage. But we will be back there. We will be back there. We're about a year and a half out, I believe. The recruiting class that we're going to obtain here in the fall are really, really special. Really special.
Great. It sounds exciting. Looks like you got some good recruits coming in, and we'll be excited to watch and watch your progress.
Thanks.
Coach T, what's one of your favorite memories from your playing days or your cheering days?
Getting skills, and seeing my teammates be genuinely happy for me. My mom was a gymnast, and so I could do a couple of flips because she just taught us limberness and flexibility, and it really helped me out in track in high school. But seeing myself get these other skills needed for cheer, and those teammates being genuinely happy for me, that. I mean, a lot of people on those teams were really, really good. And I'm coming in my first year or my second year, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I got to get this, and I'm getting it, and I got it. And everyone is just seeing the happiness of everyone else. For me. Special.
Very cool.
Very special to me.
Very cool.
Coach, let's get into some, more stuff just about you personally. How would you describe yourself out of the gym? What do you like to do, out of the gym?
I like to cook. Still in the learning phase of that. Pinterest is my friend. I like to cook. I like to spend time with my own kids. They both play sports outside of some of the arts, because one is actually following my footsteps with being musically inclined, but they also are very, very athletic. So spending time with my kids and cooking.
What if you could cook a 3-course, or I guess the 3 meals a day, sort of perfect day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You cooked your favorite thing. What would that menu look like in your house?
French toast for breakfast. Maybe some turkey bacon, scrambled eggs with cheese for breakfast. For lunch, pretty easy on lunch. A sandwich, just a nice turkey sandwich is right up my alley. For dinner though, it would have to be a medium steak with grilled onions, some loaded mashed potatoes, and like a salad or maybe some green beans. French cut green beans. It's a hidden gem. If you have not had French cut green beans, you have to get them. You have to get them. So yeah, that would be my dinner. So yeah.
Very nice.
I'll second the French cut green bean.
There we
Those are
go.
good stuff. Good eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, if you could switch jobs with anybody in the athletic department, what job would you like to just take a stab at? If you couldn't get fired, if you could, any of that, just who would whose shoes would you like to step into? I should say.
Um, Depending on the time of year, I think golf.
That's a
golf,
very popular answer.
golf is a very
Yeah,
popular answer.
it's slow paced. It's very relaxing. You get to walk around. Well, I guess you can drive on carts, but I mean, just walking around in nature. I like that a little bit more. It's a little bit less stressful. I feel like than some of the other sports. They're those are some of the others are demanding, very very demanding physically, mentally, strategically, and of course you get some of those in golf, but it's just a little bit more slow paced. So yeah, I would say golf.
For sure. All right, Coach. You have one show to binge for the rest of your life. What show would that be?
Oh man, um, probably Psych.
Okay.
Wow.
My wife
I
is
can
big
see
fan of
that,
Psych.
Coach. I think that matches your personality pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. They're very witty with some comebacks, and I love it. Actually, man, I probably watch it 2 times a week. I mean, they're all reruns, of course, and I've seen them
Yeah.
all. But I'll probably watch at least 2 or 3 episodes at least twice a week.
And Psych had a pretty big run too. They have a lot of seasons. How many seasons do they have?
Uh, I
know?
believe they had 8 with the
Yeah.
movie and a musical, I believe.
Oh
So
my gosh, I didn't
yeah,
know about
yeah,
the musical.
yeah.
That's great. Uh,
Fun
talking
stuff.
about musicals. What what instrument do you play or do you sing?
Um, I I can sing in my car.
Okay.
Uh, I like most people. I'm a good singer in my own, surroundings. But I've played several instruments. I started out with violin in the 4th grade. Um, I went to trumpet and cornet in middle school, and in high school I finished with a whole lot of drumline and lower brass type of stuff.
Okay.
And into college I picked up piano and organ because we had to take those classes. And so primarily right now I would say steel drums. I'm sorry. I've been playing drums since I was 4 and in my grandfather's church. And
Wow.
so I guess drums and piano are my 2 biggest, and that I still continually do.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Coach, who's your hero?
My grandfather. My grandfather's my hero, and he passed roughly 20 years ago now. But he was the foundation of the man that I am today. Those swift, stern talking tos, those life lessons that he taught me, I still use today. Um, the first person who told me about Kiss, not the band and not the action, but to just keep it simple, stupid. He taught me that while I was playing drums because I would always try to do different things, but he was just like, keep it simple. And I use that in life also. That term can be used in life also. Is you don't have to overly do things. Just keep it simple. So my grandfather is definitely my hero.
That's awesome. All right, Coach. How can recruits get a hold of you during this time? Can we follow you on social media anywhere?
Yes, you can follow us at Tex West Cheer on Instagram and Twitter. Tex West Spirit on Facebook. You can always email me at davis@texwest.edu. And if you can reach me on all those, I'll definitely reach out and I'll give you my number. We can however we need to do to communicate best. I'm always there. I'm always on my phone. So
Awesome. Well, Terrance, it's been great to talk to you today. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope to see you in person real soon.
all right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Cameron. See
All
you guys
right.
soon. Bye.
That's been another edition of RamSports.net Ram Talk. Ram Nation. We'll see you later.